Christmas bells cast a spell on the world, bringing you home to me from across the sea. And it seems like you're already here whenever I hear Christmas bells chime in my ear. When a snowflake falls.
Or not. Hello, everybody. We kind of got caught off guard without our intro. Welcome to Weekly Chatter Live, coming to you live from Roswell, Georgia, just north of Atlanta. We're in our normal attire. You know, it is the holiday show. We thought we'd bring Elton John to the...
I'm feeling very Elton at the moment, I must say.
You know, we've done a couple of years, we've done a little Elton with you. Like, we gave
Have
you
we?
a boa. Like, yeah, it's like how I think we're
Do
getting...
you see the things that I'm subjected to around here?
Yeah, go!
You think I would have a say, but I don't.
Not in Studio A. No. Welcome to the Weekly Chatter Live. This is the show, the weekly live stream, for the travel professional community out there across the world, because we are coming to you live via our YouTube channel. And so we are going to talk about all things travel, the things that we love, some of the things we're curious about. We got some fun things to talk about. We've got headlines, because we're all about the news here. We're very serious. But yes, so it's all, if you love travel and you want to live travel, which is what we get to do every day,
You are in the right place.
You are in the right place. So in today's show, because it is a season of giving, we are going to give away a swag kit of, and it's a swag kit that I'm not even going to describe what's in it because we haven't built the swag kit. But there'll be some nice goodies in there.
Travel goodness.
Some travel goodness. Ooh, our folks at Disney Destinations, they would say pixie dust. Some pixie dust. It'll just be travel dust, like on an old airplane. No, I'm just kidding. It's not going to be that. So your entry to win are your comments. So please drop your comments in the chat in our YouTube channel and share your wins, share your challenges. Sometimes just say hello, y'all. And happy holidays. We love to see that. Then at the end of the show, I will call time. And we'll count up how many entries, how many comments have been made, put it in the randomizer. The randomizer is going to give us a number, and then I'm not going to tell you that number, because then we'll just we'll contact you, and we'll get your information so we can mail you the swag kit. I've done this a few times. I know that, there could be 647 comments, and the number will come up as 177, and I know that I'm not going to be able to get there by counting on air. So, yes. So please join us in the chat, and if you have already done so. So I'm going to pop over there real quick. And are we going to leave the glasses on the whole time? I feel like we could, and we should, maybe.
Yeah, I'm feeling... I have a lot going on here. I have, my very nice winter scarf. I have...
Which I would call a
Santa
summer. I would call that a summer scarf.
You think so?
Yeah, we had this conversation.
Okay. What do you think?
Guys? Can you look at this?
Let's zoom in on
if
this.
you can see through it, that does not count as a winter scarf.
know.
That is definitely something you'd wear when you're going through Italy and you're like, oh, I'll have an espresso or maybe a cappuccino or anything with kind of a Italian flair.
Okay. Then I got my Santa coat on.
Yeah, well then that definitely.
So...
And
if
then
the lights were any brighter, I'd be sweating here.
And then I'm wearing my
The llama.
here. Save the llama for your mama. It's my Yuletide special. So, yeah. All right, so let's go over to the chat real quick. So Daniela joins us. Happy Friday and Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas to you, Daniela. So good to see you. Let's see, Deborah, happy Friday and Merry Christmas from Squim, Washington. Little Christmas tree emoji. Are you having any issues with adding? Oh, they're not showing up for him. You know what? It would not be the Weekly Chatter Live without some technical difficulty. And producer Paul is behind the camera. Paul number 2, because we do have 2 Pauls here. Number 2. And, did you ever watch Star Trek Next Generation?
Yeah, with the one with Picard.
Yeah, and he had number 1 and number 2.
Yes.
That's what we've got now.
That's
We've
right.
got it. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Did he have number 2? Or was it just number 1?
Oh no, number 2 had a name.
That's
She
from
had
Austin
a name.
Powers.
No, she had a name. So yeah, but number 1, yep, you're right. The Austin Powers. Yeah, you're right. All right, Michelle said hello, Merry Christmas, everyone. So good to see you. Andy, Merry Christmas. BL Creatives, Merry Christmas from Palm City, Florida. You can tell I'm from Florida. That's why I added the Florida.
The Florida.
Yeah, I'm from South. I'm from South
You
Florida.
must be from the East Coast of Florida. 'Cause on the West Coast of Florida,
On the
we
west
call
side,
it Florida.
you call it what?
Florida.
Florida. Oh my goodness. Michelle, poking fun at me, said, Josh, you need to practice now how to say squim. She thought that I was going to be thrown off by Debbie.
I feel like you've mastered
Deborah.
it. At this point.
Yeah, I've got it. But I will tell you, every
You are.
time I see it come up in the chat, I'm like, it's not sequim. It's not sequim. Don't say sequim. Michelle said, you're rocking the glasses. She likes the glasses. And
They are something.
Yeah.
Where did you get these?
So a very high-end boutique called Marshall's. I sent someone on a shopping run for something for us to tacky up the set, and that's what we came
Mission
back
accomplished.
with. Mission accomplished. Yeah. Let's see. Deborah agrees from me. Yes, it is a summer scarf. But you know what? You can do whatever you want. Right? There's no rules. Like,
Okay.
I will wear white after Labor Day because you are not going to tell me otherwise, right? So anyway, let's see. Andy said, is that an alpaca sweater? You know what? I called it a llama, but it is an alpaca.
Is
isn't
it?
Isn't
I don't know.
Isn't a llama and an alpaca the same thing?
I do not know.
Do we have the ability to go to the Google and find out?
I'll go into my Google machine. Hold on.
Yeah. Let's see. Daniela said, y'all look super festive. We feel super festive. I mean, this is a 3-day
They are
weekend.
Not the same.
Oh, what's the difference?
An alpaca is smaller, and llamas, are bigger. They are cousins, though, apparently.
So, I'm going to give you a little science lesson, though.
They're the biggest of the llamoids.
I'm going to give you a lesson that I learned on something I was watching.
Yes.
And I don't know what it was, so I can't quote that show.
Sorry.
But apparently, you can tell if a female llama is pregnant by if you present the stud to the female alpaca and she is pregnant, she will spit. So, if you ever need to see if your alpaca or llama is pregnant, you get a male alpaca or llama, and then they'll spit. The ladies will spit.
And there you have it. The beacon of infotainment. That is the Weekly Chatter Live.
That is the Weekly Chatter Live. All right, sorry. You know what? When I learned, if you're not growing, you're dying. So the things that I watch on YouTube are things like that. All right.
I can only see your search history. What story that would tell.
If you could read my mind, well. Okay. So Aaron Bergman said, Merry Christmas. Hello. Let's see. Merry Christmas from Hudson, Wisconsin. Aaron said, it is a heat wave up here for the holiday. 50s this weekend.
That is balmy.
Talking about a heat wave. Burning in my heart. Aaron also gave me a bunch of llamas or alpacas. So that was great. Let's see. Michelle said, when I was surprised with a thank you card with gift card from a repeat client as a thank you for helping her and her extended family, and it was so cool. Congratulations, Michelle. Wait. And I think that goes for even when you send out thank you cards or just little thinking of note cards to your clients. If that made you feel special, think about how you can do that. Send out 5 a week. Just little task. That is awesome. All right, our Bill. He has. Oh man, I wish I had seen this before. And Paul number 2 said, yeah, I know. So today is National Cookie Exchange Day. So I guess I'm supposed to give you a cookie and then you give me a cookies. I know. Where's Paul number 1? No, I'm just kidding. We're not doing cookies. So Bill asks, and I'm going to turn around and ask everybody who's watching, what is your favorite cookie? And so drop that in the chat. And I'm going to go ahead and use this opportunity to ask you, what is your favorite cookie?
Favorite holiday cookie?
Well, wait a minute. You added an adjective. It didn't say holiday cookie.
Card says moops.
Oh, it does say. It does say holiday. Sorry.
My favorite holiday cookie would be the traditional sugar cookie with the homemade icing that it's soft when you put it on, but if you let it sit for like a day,
kind of gets a
little crust to it. And it's got to have like sprinkles and except the little metal balls. Like I don't know who thought
the metal balls.
Put BBs on top of cookies. But
BBs, exactly.
That's what they are.
I used to put those in my Red Ryder BB gun.
Ball bearings.
Yeah.
What? Speaking of Red Ryder BB gun, I did some important holiday homework last night.
Okay.
Jillian and I finally, neither of us, we are both 46 years old, and neither one of us had ever seen A Christmas Story. So last night we sat down and watched it, start to finish, and I had never watched it because I didn't think it was going to be that good, because I've seen little bits and pieces, through the years, and I'm like, I don't get it. But we sat down and watched it. It was fantastic.
It really was.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed it. So I feel like I have accomplished something this holiday season now.
Well, I actually, as a child, got a Red Ryder BB gun as a gift before the movie came out, because I'm that much older. But I'm just saying, so I would shoot it in my room, my bedroom in Florida, and it would ricochet, the BBs would ricochet off the wall. And accidentally shot my cousin in the knee, and he thought it was just a flesh wound. And then when he as he grew older and was in high school football, his knee was giving him some difficulties, and then they did a scan, and they were like, "Have you had like some kind of a replacement because you've got
Were you
metal?"
in the war? You have shrapnel in your knee.
And so they had to go in and fish the BB out many years later. All right, well that was a story that I wasn't expecting to tell.
I love it.
Oh my goodness. All right, so for me, I would agree with you on the cookies, but it's not going to be the sugar cookies. It's going to be more the gingerbread man kind of cookies.
Like a gingerbread man.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do like the run as fast as you can. Can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man.
Now, have you ever made a gingerbread house?
I only did one from like a cheap, like Marshall's kind of like.
My youngest daughter, she wants us to like all make gingerbread houses that you can actually eat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that just sounds like it's going to end badly. Like it won't be good.
If the cookie is stale, I mean, I don't know how. I don't know.
Yeah. And it looks like a lot of work.
It does.
Frankly.
Yeah. And I don't like arts and crafts, so I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna fiddle around. This is as much arts and crafts as I get into, and I have to tell you.
You actually made these.
Yeah, I did.
I saw him on his lunch break with glitter.
I
and
did.
puff-
On my lunch break.
and puffy balls.
This was on the clock. I did this. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's see. So before we get to the answers on what people
Yes.
say about cookies, Daniela said, I'm looking forward to the Atlanta road show. She booked her hotel last night. Those of you who are coming to our road shows in Atlanta, Orlando, Dallas, and Minneapolis, if you go to TribalQuestNetwork.com/roadshows, click on the 2024 tour, you will find all the hotels. Yeah, so we can't wait to see you there. That's going to be a lot of fun. Daniela, so good to see you. And you'll get to, because we're here, our office is in here. All right, I'm going to start again. Because our office is here in Atlanta, you get to meet all of the producers. I feel like you'll be number one, number two, Paul number one.
Paul 1 and 2.
Yep. And Evan, everybody, the whole Hee Haw gang will be there. All right, so let's see. For cookies, Andy said Snickerdoodle.
Okay.
Paul number 2 said Snickerdoodles, baby. BL Creative said Anicetti, Italian cookie. Anicetti?
Anisette.
Anisette?
Yeah, I think.
Does it have anise in it?
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be an interesting cookie.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of anise. That's very licoricey for those of you who don't know.
Yes.
Our Velma said peanut butter blossom, Hershey kiss in the middle. Ooh. Oh. Okay, I didn't know they were called peanut butter. Please take over. Okay. Aaron said peanut butter cookies. Michelle said love plain sugar cookies without the frosting. Snickerdoodles are the best. Gosh, man, there is a Snickerdoodle group here. But I have those year-round, not just for the holidays. Bill said for me it's a rum ball. What's a rum ball?
I'm thinking, knowing Bill, I think it's like a glass of rum with like a ball of ice.
I have a feeling it is like a ball, it's just like you form it in your hand and it's got like sprinkly things all over it, like coconutty thing. I don't know. Look up a rum ball cookie. Like you're
Back to the Google machine.
Yeah, the Google machine. And Andy said fragile. It's Italian.
Fragile.
Fragile.
And then the wife says, I think it's fragile. Rum ball. Here we go. Truffle-like confectionaries of cookie butter flavored with chocolate and rum.
Oh.
Roughly the size of a golf ball and often coated in chocolate sprinkles. Desiccated? I don't know what that means. Desiccated coconut or cocoa.
Or desiccated, I bet, means like...
What is desiccated coconut?
Like masticated means you chew on it, so I bet desiccated means like shredded. It's just a fancier way for shredded.
Why don't they just say shredded?
I don't know. But you know what I don't know for a fact?
It's grated.
But I don't know for a
Grated
fact,
coconut.
but I feel like Fraggle Rock was supposed to be based on Fragile Rock. I don't know. Like that's where they got the name. Like, where did Fraggles come from? Like, what did the name Fraggle? I think it came from Fragile. Anyway, sorry, that was just a... let's see, Michelle said, finally watched Elf for the first time all the way through on the flight to Mexico. I didn't understand the interest of everyone around me, but it was better than I expected. I have never watched it, so I feel like if we're doing first, then I might need to do it. I'm just going to say. Daniela said, I love the German butter cookie. It is our version of the sugar cookie. And Lisa said, I also vote for peanut butter blossoms. Sorry. And then Deborah said, oh, you guys, rum balls and bourbon balls are the best. Yeah. So with that, I'm just going to say, yeah, girl. And
those are awesome.
yeah, thank you guys for, and again, we're our contest is based on your comments. We're going to take the number of comments, put it in the randomizer, and then we'll count out whichever comment lands on, is that number. This is very complicated. We'll pick a winner, and then we've got a little swag kit that we're going to send you.
So that's the more you comment, the more chances you have to
Yes.
basically.
So yeah.
For those of you
But don't
who
just put like a space and make a comment. No, you need to like, or just emoji it out. Like, don't dial it in like that. Like, give us something to work with.
But for those of you who are competitive, and I know some of you are.
Michelle. I know Michelle is extremely competitive. But anyway, so we changed up our format a little bit. We wanted to come in with the headlines so we could talk about what's going on in the industry, some things that make you go, other things we're really excited about, and so we want to talk about the headlines and hear your feedback. So jump in with your thoughts, and we will definitely cover that. But I don't know if Paul number 2 knows that we have headline music. Oh, we do. I love it.
Okay. Some fun stuff today, gang. So I read this story earlier this week. As those of some of the folks in our office know, I have my morning news feed, and I'm off to forward something at 5 in the morning to somebody. But I saw this one, and I haven't shared it with anybody yet. And I just got a bit of a chuckle and a cringe at the same time.
Okay.
And here's the story. So, folks who were scheduled to go to the Caribbean on the MSC Meraviglia arrived to the port, many of them, to learn their cruise, it was not going to the Caribbean after all. It was going to Boston and Canada because of weather in the Caribbean from New York. So they were departing from New York.
Oh.
And apparently MSC had sent a cancellation or an update, not a cancellation, a notice. Hey, we're changing the itinerary for tomorrow. And they sent it the day before.
Okay.
But a lot of people didn't check their email.
Right.
And when some passengers arrived, the porters who were taking their luggage said, "Oh, you're going to Canada." And they thought they were kidding. And they got on board to discover they were not kidding. So I'm curious, what is the worst reroute that you've seen? Like, it's one thing if it's the summertime and you get rerouted to Canada, but in the middle of winter,
Well,
I gotta say I would not be a happy camper.
well, Bill.
So what's the worst reroute you've seen?
Bill said, "I love this story. I laughed at it too. I can't imagine shorts and T-shirts in Boston this time of year."
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I love Boston, Canada.
Yeah, I do
That's all
too.
great.
Yeah. But if you were leaving New York to go to the Caribbean, that is, that's a little bit of a shocker. I mean, yeah.
I feel bad for the folks who didn't have a travel advisor, let me say that, and did not have insurance.
Yeah, Michelle said I would not be properly packed either. It'd be crazy. And then our Erica said, I bet they got free Wi-Fi though.
Let's hope. Anyway, so let me know. I'm curious if you've ever seen one. That might be the worst reroute that I've seen. But if you know of one that's worse, what would your reaction be? Like, what would you do?
Well, I don't know, because I mean, I do pack. I overpack, so I probably would be okay on that front. But I think my mindset in the Caribbean would be one way, and then
It's a totally different trip.
yeah, it's a totally different trip. I mean, I love both places, or all the places, but I'm just saying that would be very different.
Anyway,
I
so
would just love some New Yorkers kind of being like, "What do you mean?"
you can picture it. Can't you?
Out of all the places,
That poor crew. The poor crew. The crew was probably getting it that week. Okay. Down in Mexico, have you seen this? They opened up last Saturday the Maya train. You heard about this?
No.
Is it okay? So it's a train. It's got 30 some stops. And it goes through that whole peninsula in and around Cancun, Riviera Maya, and all that. And it goes inland, right? And so the whole idea is they want to connect some of these inner areas around that whole Gulf Coast, right? Because
That's actually pretty smart because you
Right,
don't
because
venture out.
You don't, and a lot of if you do, it's hours in a bus, right? So the whole idea is they want to create this train. When it first started on Saturday, there was some delays and there's some consternation about it, but I'm sure that'll get worked out. I'm curious though, from our travel advisor audience, would you send your client on it?
Oh. Would you?
I am honestly curious about that, because I could see for certain clients it being appealing, but I don't know. I don't think I would yet. I'm curious if you would.
But that leads me to another question that is not related to travel, really.
All right.
But do you think you are a trailblazer when it comes to travel, or do you want
me personally?
Yeah. Do you want people to have all the kinks worked out
before? What I would
you?
personally do and what I would send a client to do are two different things.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I don't know that I want to be the one to kind of
kick the tires.
Yeah, I'm not ready to take it for a test drive. I need it to be a little more fully baked. But before you go on to the next bit, we do have some comments here.
All right.
Let's see. Terry, our Terry jumped in on the cookie debate, and he said Russian tea cake because he's fancy like that. And our Erica said she agrees with that. So way to go. Our team has
interesting.
And Michelle on the MSC story said, I hope they paid for warm clothing for everyone. Man, I bet that the swag store got trampled. And you know what? This does not surprise me, but our Terry, who is a wordsmith and a master of the vocabulary, to the point where I do have to sometimes pull out a dictionary to know what he is writing to me at all. Desiccated means dry and moisture removed. I thank you for that, Terry. I feel there are some days when I feel desiccated. Anyway, I got to laugh out of number 2 over here. Let's see. And Velma said, I really hope the cruisers don't blame their travel agents because that was not their fault. I hope so too. Let's see. And then Michelle on the Maya train said, I heard about this train on the Riviera Maya Facebook page, which is run by an expat travel agent now living in that area. I would put my client on it once she okayed it and gave the thumbs up. So she's saying she would, but she needs somebody that she trusts to do some verification.
That sounds prudent to me, Michelle.
I concur.
Okay, so that was interesting. Just a little bit of industry news. Anything river cruising gets my attention. Let me just tell you, when I interviewed for this job in 2017, hey, I didn't imagine this is where I would be on this day in the future. Dressed like Elton John, crossed with a mall Santa.
But
maybe you did think that.
I didn't even know that river cruising was a thing. And I mean, you were really passionate about it, so you kind of sold me on it. Now I do love it too. So what was in the news about River Cruise?
So this is 2 stories in one, I think, because we're seeing. I just did an interview for Forbes the other day. I don't know if they'll publish it, but one of the things that I shared was the popularity of Asia, some of the Asian destinations, and river cruising. I love and. I think it's always exciting to see that type of travel expand. So Viking is adding a new ship in 25 to the Mekong. And so that, I think, is a good signal to me that says, hey, there is indeed continued strong demand for Asia over the next couple of years. I think there's a lot of people, a lot of travelers who are maybe concerned about some of the geopolitical stability in that region, not right now, but maybe in the future. And so they're not sure how much longer they're going to be able to travel to Korea and Vietnam and Japan, and we're seeing a lot of bookings moving into that space. So, Viking, new ship on the Mekong in 2025. That'll sail in October 2025, and it's a sister ship of the ship they already have on the Mekong.
And is it pronounced? This is not.
I said it both ways in one segment, so
okay.
Mekong or Mekong.
Yeah,
I think
because
it's Mekong, but
yeah. See,
someone out there correct.
Yeah, I feel
Terry?
like. Yeah, Terry. Unless you're desiccated. If you're desiccated, please hydrate first. But I am curious because I feel like I will say it both ways, but I imagine it might be.
I'm sure there
Mekong.
is
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. This I thought was pretty cool. So the Four Seasons resorts, they have a catamaran, luxury catamaran, that was stationed or based in the Maldives and that was sailing between their resorts, right? And they're repositioning it to Palau in the South Pacific. And they're calling it a cruising resort. And the idea is, Palau is a very dive-centric destination. A lot of people go there for diving. But this catamaran, there's only 11 staterooms.
Okay.
But you can check in and check out whenever you want.
So it's not like the Hotel
It
California.
is not the Hotel Palau, no. So, and as soon as I read that, I'm like, that is really cool, and I wish more traditional cruise lines could figure out the logistics behind that. Where you could just, if I want to get on in Barbados and I want to get off in, I don't know, wherever, that would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
So, is that something you've ever thought about, or that you would see demand for? If you took your typical, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Norwegian, those itineraries, and if you could just slot passengers in whatever date they wanted, do you think people would want that if they could ever figure that out? I think they would.
Yeah.
But because to me, then you can customize that cruise experience to a much better degree.
Yeah.
But logistically, it would have to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you
Because
think?
we did a long cruise recently this year.
Yeah.
And I mean that was the longest one I had been on. That was like an ocean cruise, and I don't know. That was a long time to be. Even though we were getting off the ship, I just feel like I might have wanted to stay a little bit longer in a place, and then almost like a hop on, hop off bus.
Hop on, hop off cruise.
That's what I want. That's what I want. I think. I don't know. Our Erica said couldn't love Southeast Asia more. All in favor of it. Michelle said for Mekong, she says Mekong, but not sure if that's correct. Bill says Margaritaville at sea does sort of that. You can do a one-way to Bahamas, stay for a while, and then cruise back.
That's true. But I'd have to sail on the Margaritaville.
Oh, there we go.
I'm kidding.
Michelle said, "I have asked.
Sort of.
I've had people ask for that type of cruise option out of Florida.
Yeah.
To be able to get on in Florida and off in the Bahamas for a few days, and then back on, hop off cruise could work.
Where do cruises leave in Florida?
Florida. They leave.
I know they live in Florida, but I wasn't aware of cruise ports in Florida.
You mean Florida? Florida?
All right, I got one last thing for you.
Okay.
And I saw this story, and I realized that a country that I had visited, that I'd completely forgotten about, is pushing to get hot and heavy into building their tourism. And
Drum roll, please.
the headline is North Korea wants to be a tourist destination. And I realized I've actually technically been to North Korea.
Have you really?
Through the DMZ.
Really?
Yeah. So walked around the table and did that thing.
Interesting.
Technically be in North Korea. Anyway, they're putting a lot of effort into wooing mostly Chinese visitors, but
Okay.
yeah. I just saw there's this big picture of
Was that
Kim
the sound effect?
Kim
That was
Jong-un,
funny.
and he was very excited to celebrate tourism to North Korea.
So,
That's funny.
have you ever done the Kennedy Space Museum down in Orlando?
The Canadian Space Museum?
Kennedy.
Oh. Did you think you said Canadian Space Museum?
Are the Canadians, are they going to space?
I
would love to know if, if they're secretly
I have
going.
been to the Kennedy Space Center.
Have you?
I, in fact, went to space camp as a child.
Okay. There's a whole other episode. We're gonna have
We'll do a separate episode
a
on
separate
that.
one. But what I loved about, so I went to see it. I didn't know what to expect, and they kind of do this thing where you go into a room, kind of a queue thing,
Yeah.
and then you're watching a movie, and then they show Earth at night, and there's all these lights all over all the continents, and then there's just this black spot with no lights on, and they were like, and that is North Korea. And I just remember that stood out to me so much that, you know, you saw all these lights everywhere and then nothing over North Korea. And then all of a sudden the wall opens and then the nose of a shuttle is right in front of your face. Like they open it up and now you're in the museum.
Wow.
At least that's the place I went to. I don't know if that's really where it was. But anyway, I do hear in my ear that our Velma has been standing by for like a while. And I'd like to bring our Velma in. Velma Tollison coming in from Tyler, Texas. Hello, Velma. Thank you for waiting.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
I have my Texas Christmas tree here.
What does a Texas Christmas tree look like? That looks a little bit like a rosemary bush.
It is, with a Texas shaped ornament on it. You got that right on the money.
I love it. Well, it's great to see you, and you always come to us with our leaderboard from our network of independent advisors and what they have invoiced in sales and the commission income that they are expecting. So let's go through. Where do you want to start? We start at number 3, right?
I like to start with number 3 and kind of build up.
We'll see if number 2, Paul, has the right drum roll for number 1. We'll see.
We'll see. That's not it.
Yeah. But,
Okay, so gross sales in the number 3 spot for the week, we always want to make sure people understand this is just 1 week, is $122,688 with a weekly commission income of $13,124.
not a bad week.
This member sold Carnival, Holland America, NCL, Princess, and Royal Caribbean. And then in the number 2 spot, gross sales for the week, $125,835 with a weekly commission income of $14,863. And this member sold just a couple of things, Regent and Silver Seas.
Just a couple of things. I like how you said that. Just a couple of things.
A couple of things. In the number 1 spot.
All right, drum roll.
Okay, that dead airspace, that'll get you every time. That was poor. Okay.
Can you please say that was poor one more time? That was poor.
Weekly gross sales of $205,023 with a weekly commission income of, this is so fabulous, oh my gosh, $29,437.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah, girl.
Wow.
Hey, girl. This member sold Funjet, Viking River, Virgin Voyages, and sandals.
Oh,
Yeah,
so a
girl.
mix of everything, but definitely a lot going on there. Wow, that's not a bad week at all.
Not a bad week. And before I sign off, I do want to tell Jason that there are cruises where you can choose which ports you want to get on and off.
Go back to camera 2 or 1. Either one. Okay, so you're right on the big, like, long round the world ones, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. So
Yes.
what happens is every year I had these customers that were really interested in the segments. So
Mhm.
as soon as they announce the World Cruise, which those go really, really fast,
Yeah.
I would send them a schedule and I would tell them which breakdowns are allowed for that year.
Right.
As they only do certain here's the 64-day segment or the 30
Right.
or the 40, and then they would tell me which one they wanted. So in a way, it was a little flexible, not quite
Yeah.
as
Oh, absolutely.
flexible, but still doable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when we have, will be a cruise line. It's going to be a hop on, hop off cruise line.
Yeah.
And I would love to see you do the logistics on that one. I
Oh.
feel like your mind is ready for
We're
that.
going to make it happen.
Yeah.
Thank
Well-
you, Velma. I hope you have a beautiful Christmas and wonderful holiday.
Yes, and Velma, Michelle wishes you. Well, she says hello, Velma, and happy holidays to you. And our Erica said there is a new soundbite that needs to be added to the soundbite collection, and that was poor. So I'm pleased. Anyway. Happy Christmas to you, and we'll see you. We won't see you next week because you're going to take a little bit of a break.
That's
So
right.
you're going to miss the New Year's celebration.
Well,
You know
I'm
what?
sure
What?
that it'll be big though.
Yeah, and I do feel like we have done confetti here.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and I feel like we need to do that again because the confetti stayed in this studio for several months. So
It was everywhere.
it was everywhere. Anyway, all right, Velma. See you really soon. We'll see you next year.
Bye,
Velma.
guys.
Bye. Oh, what a joy she is.
Yes, she is.
So Bill said that isn't common in the USA because of the Passenger Vessels Act. It gets complicated.
It's true. It's true. If you make a port call on a U.S. port, yeah. But if you were just running in the Caribbean and things like that, then that doesn't apply.
Do you know what? I feel like the tone of our show.
Yes.
While I know I'm wearing ridiculous glasses and an alpaca or a llama sweater, I'm just saying we're actually getting into some really good topics. I'm really glad we got off the cookies, Bill, but we're really getting into some good stuff here.
But Bill's absolutely right. Like if you had it returning, like if you're going through the Caribbean and you're calling on Miami every 10 days, so you just took like a normal 10-day Royal Caribbean, that does get problematic.
Okay. Well, hop on, hop off cruise. So, all right. Let's see. Daniela said, a world cruise is my ultimate bucket list trip, hopefully someday.
It would be how long, Daniela? How long would you go? Like, are you talking one of those like 180 dayers?
Well,
I don't know if I could make. Because you're right. I'm thinking back to the 10 days we did, and that was.
yeah, and I mean, we had a great time. I mean, we had a great time on the ship.
Yeah.
That was on the Norwegian Viva.
Yeah.
But, so it wasn't the ship.
Oh, no,
But
it
it was
fantastic.
just traveling
Yeah.
like that.
But you know what? That trip, because I've done a couple of 10-day cruises, and that one that we were on, there was a port of call every single day. And we were part of a group, so it was a
work trip, so
it was a
I
work
need
trip.
to remember that. Like all my references
Yeah.
are work trips. So
Right. Whereas like a few years ago, we did the Harmony of the Seas
Yeah.
with the family, and it was 10 days, and I could have stayed another 20, I think.
Really?
Yeah. So I think, I don't know, 180 days, like, let's see.
as long as the internet could be right, I would be all over it. What are you laughing
Bill's
at?
making fun of me now. He said, isn't a hop on, hop off cruise just a ferry? Technically, Bill, yes, maybe so.
Oh my goodness. Well, listen. So Paul number 2 said that we had someone write in a question for us,
Okay.
which we haven't had, and we do welcome if you want to shoot a little horizontal video and say, hey guys, on the Weekly Chatter Live, hey, I got some a question. We love that, but you can also send in your questions to us. So Aaron Bergman, who I know is watching, so hey Aaron, I'm glad that you joined us. We are getting to your question. He said, what type of advice would you give advisors exploring a new niche they haven't experienced? And when Paul number 2 gave this to us, we were like, well, we could talk for an hour on this.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my first response is, I think that is a great question, not because everyone should be looking to switch their niche, but everyone from time to time.
Switch your niche. You got to switch your niche. Yeah. You missed getting that on camera, Paul number 2. Sorry, now I can't do it again.
You're gonna do it again? You all missed a little dancing.
Switch.
He's gonna do it.
Your niche. Just switch. You're a niche. Okay.
Okay. Now that we have that out of our system.
Yeah, girl.
I do think it's a good question because it's something you should ask yourself from time to time, right? You should test yourself.
If you should switch your niche.
Yeah, if you should switch. Like, is
am
my
I in the
business
right-
pointed in the right direction?
Yeah.
And maybe it is, right? Maybe it's not. But if you're pretty sure that it isn't, and you do think you want to make a switch, number one, you mentioned what should I do if I haven't experienced it?
Yeah.
Well, the first thing is do everything you can to try to experience it, if that's possible. Right? And maybe your niche, you want it to be world cruises, and that maybe isn't feasible. But I think you can definitely start going down the education path, right? And understanding those suppliers, those destinations, so that you can speak to it intelligently. I mean, one of the first things, whether you're picking a niche for the first time or you're switching into a new niche, the first thing you need to do is you're on this rocket ship to try to reach a point of expertise as quickly as you can, right? Because, and if you've defined your niche tightly enough, I mean, I think you'd be shocked if you define it tightly how much you could learn in just a few weeks if you really pour yourself into it, and certainly within a few months. And that's kind of a good rule of thumb that if this isn't something I can really truly be an expert in 6 months, I would say your niche is too big. And again, when we talk niches, that doesn't mean don't ever sell outside of it.
Right, but you got to be known for something.
You got to be known for something and be able to deliver that specialized knowledge. And if that niche is too large, you're just never going to reach it, because in every niche it changes, right? Like the products change, the destinations change even. I mean, look, we were just talking about the Maya train, right? So if your destination expertise is in that whole Riviera Maya region, that whole peninsula, then that's something you need to learn about, right, as an option. Because even if you don't plan on sending clients on that particular product, you very well may get clients who ask you about that product, right? And you need to be able to speak to it intelligently, more than just knowing it exists.
Yeah.
Right? So I would say the first thing you want to do is go down that education path if you've decided what that niche should be. Now, if you haven't decided what it should be, the thing you need to think about are what outcomes are you looking for? What is the profit target you're looking to get from this business? And that starts to point to certain niches, right? And I think you need to kind of go through that exercise. We have a great niche selection course in Worldview Pro, but there's other things too out there. And I think you need to go through the exercise of figuring out, okay, how much profit am I trying to generate? What's that mean for some of my key metrics, right? What's my revenue per transaction need to be? What does my close rate need to be? And then you can go through that brainstorming process intelligently, knowing kind of what targets you're going to hit, right? So that's my 2 cents on it. What do you think?
That was more than 2 cents. You kind of got up on the sermon and you were preaching. So
yeah.
I agree with you, and I'm glad you talked about the resources that we have available to our members on World Leader Pro, because you put a lot of heart and soul into that, and I know Erica has put a lot of heart and soul into that because it's a big deal. Don't get into business just to get into business. Turn your passion into profits, right? And I have found it very fascinating over the years of working with our members. You have a dinner or you're just having a little chat to the side, and someone says, I sell this, but I don't love this. I actually love this. And so it's not necessarily this conversation or the answer to this question, but a lot of times you know what you really like, but you might have gotten into business based on kind of low-hanging fruit, what you thought you could easily, get into the business and make money off of. So definitely, I love what you said about looking at, go down the education path. A lot of our business development managers, oftentimes, we just use them for problems. And I always say, don't make the first time you reach out to your BDM be when you have a problem.
Amen.
Develop a relationship, because actually, you may not have experienced that destination or that type of travel, but if that's what they specialize in, then they even have stories that can become your stories, or then you can use them as, well, a friend of mine goes on safari all the time, right? And so I love that, and I loved Bill in the chat said, for a new niche, I would try to experience it firsthand before I started booking it, which is exactly what you said. And he points out you can virtually experience it via things such as YouTube and such, lots of research. And you think about it, I mean, there are so many people who are doing Instagram stories when they're on holiday, and so you're walking the streets with them. I mean, I love the fact you can do that from your lounge. You don't have to necessarily go, and you can hear. There's so many people that are sharing their opinions about so many different things that you can really gather a lot and cobble together stories and information even if you cannot experience it firsthand. So thank you for that, Bill.
But and just to put a cap point on experiencing it firsthand, even if you think you can't, there are a lot of advisor-friendly opportunities to experience an awful lot of the products and destinations that you might be thinking about. So again, some of those 180-day world cruise things like that, and I don't know of any FAMs on that particular product. But you still might be able to do ship inspections when ships are important. Now those are going to be fewer and further between because there's fewer ships, just physically, than some of the bigger lines that have shorter itineraries. But there still are opportunities and for just about every niche to experience it that are wallet friendly.
Most definitely. Now we do have some gifts that were show and tells that I want to get to.
Yeah.
But we have a question.
Okay.
That so Michelle asks a question with the new GEMS, which is our recognition program, starting in the new year. If I am at one of the new levels at the end of this year, do I start the new year at that GEM level? And this is really perplexing for people. It is a question we get a lot. Can you answer that question?
I will endeavor to answer that question.
Yes.
So I'm gonna use an example. And I'm going to use just simple terms that we can all relate to and understand the hierarchy. In the Olympics, there's gold, silver, and bronze, right?
Yes.
So the lowest level is bronze, and the highest level of those three is gold. Yes, we know this. So if the highest, let's say you made it to, you started this year, 2023, off at bronze, and throughout the year you progressed and you have since made it to silver, okay? Our levels are not bronze, gold, and silver, just so you all understand.
Because they're gems.
You finish this year at silver. You would begin next year at silver, right? Based on what you qualified for.
Right.
So all of your commission income that you're generating in 2023 would have qualified you for a gem level for 2024.
Right.
Right? In this case, I'm saying that's going to be silver.
Right.
But the way the program works, you get the benefit of that higher level as soon as you qualify for it for the rest of the current year. So if you started last January at bronze and you worked your way up, and by June you had qualified for 2024 to be silver, you'll be silver for all of 2024 and from that point on through the end of 2023, right?
Yes.
Now, fast forward, it's January 1st, 2024. You start the year off at silver, right? Because that's the level you qualified for.
Mm-hmm.
If your business continues to grow, and right now, starting on January 1st, you'll be working towards your qualification for 2025, right?
So you're keeping your silver status.
That's right.
Because you earned it.
Yes.
But now you're starting to...
You're starting over. Building your 2025 status, right?
Right.
And let's say things are really going great, and by April, you've already qualified for gold for 2025.
Yep.
Great. You're going to start January 1st, 2025 at gold, but you're going to be able to have that benefit starting when you qualified for it in 2024 for the rest of 24.
Exactly the way Sky Miles does it.
It works exactly the way Delta's Sky Miles program works.
Yes. All right, so
hopefully that helped.
Yeah, and if you are a member of our network, please join us for the All Call next Wednesday at 5. If you have more questions,
Yes.
we can definitely address that then. But I do want to get to some show and tell before we wrap up the show. So our friends at Atlas Ocean Voyages sent us, this lovely snow globe. Look at it, guys. It's got some penguins. They're hanging out, waiting for the ship. Yeah. I don't know why there needed to be a song for that. And then, you know what? Oh, do we have the postcard graphics? So... Okay, so I thought I could talk over it, and I don't think I could. Anyway, we're going old school, and back in the day when you traveled, you got a postcard from the destination where you were traveling, and you mailed it from that destination, so it had a nice little indicia stamp from that post office. And I am very excited that this is a postcard that we received from Alaska's Port of Call. Ports of Call. Oh shoot! Now I can't see.
Here, put on your glasses.
Yeah, that's not gonna help me. I'll put on my real glasses. Hold on. So it's a photo that
They look pretty
has
similar.
Sitka's Mount Edgecumbe, Glacier Bay, Juneau's Medenal Glacier, Ketchikan's Creek Street, Skagway's White Pass and Yukon Route. Anyway, those are some Alaskan ports of call.
Fun.
And it's signed by a bunch of our members who were on the Holland America XFAM that we did
cool.
August 26, 2023.
Awesome.
So just wanted to share that with you guys. Thank you guys for sending us a postcard, and everybody signed it too on the back. So very, very cool. Thank you for sending that in. And then, it was the holidays, or it is the holidays. Sorry.
Yes.
I'm trying to not do this show with all my glasses reflecting, but I can't see. So I thought we would can we go to camera 2?
Oh my.
Yeah. So I thought we would start a tradition, and it would be the lighting of our Live Travel holiday tree. And you know what? It is the end of the show, and I'm going to wish you and yours a happy Christmas. And I wish we could darken the lights on the set, but we can't. So there we go. I don't even know if you can tell the difference with them on and off. Oh, yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
You can't even see that.
Yeah, you can't really see it.
They're lit.
But they're lit. And
I think that's fantastic. Where did we get this gem? Look at that.
Probably from Marshalls.
at that thing.
Yes. This is actually from my personal.
That was from his living room.
Yeah, it is from my lounge. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a very, very happy holiday or enjoying the holiday season. So I am going to go through. I'm going to count up the chats. And I'll put it in the randomizer, and we'll pick a winner. And then when we message out to, what are you looking for?
I was just looking for.
Because we're not doing that part. We're saving that.
Oh. Okay.
You told me that we were going to do that next year. Or next one.
We are, but we're teasing.
Oh,
That's
okay.
That's fine.
No, well, at this point, please go ahead and tease.
No.
Okay, never mind.
No.
So, we're teasing something, but we're not teasing something. Just tune in next week.
Tune in next week.
Yeah, for our New Year's show. But anyway, to you and yours, happy holidays. Take care of yourself so we can take care of each other. And we'll see you real soon.
Bye, everybody. Love you.